What's happening, everybody? Josh from In Effect here, hanging out with Aaron Dalbec, formerly of BANE at This Is Hardcore 2018. Woo! So it's been roughly 2 years since the last BANE show. What have you been doing to kind of keep yourself busy? Is there any music that you've been working on, or have you kind of stepped away from that world?
Definitely haven't stepped away from it. I haven't really played much since the last BANE show, but I definitely have some ideas in my head to start some new things. Right. And hoping Only Crime starts doing a little more stuff sometime in the future, but not too sure. Everybody's really busy now that I'm not. Everybody else is busy, so it's a tough thing to deal with. But yeah, and I started playing with 10 Yard Fight. They did This Is Hardcore this year, and I'm not sure what else we'll do, but
yeah. So how did that kind of work out? I mean, you're all in Boston, so I'm sure there's some overlap there between, people know people. So how did you get involved with 10 Yard Fight, and then at what point did they ask you to play This Is Hardcore with them?
Well, when we did Holding This Moment, Ben, the drummer for 10 Yard Fight, played in BANE for about a year or so. And they actually, right before Back on Track came out, they asked me to fill in guitar for them, second guitar, when they went to Europe. So I actually played with them in 97-ish for about a year, maybe like 6 months to a year.
Okay.
So when they did this, they asked me if I wanted to do it, and I was like, sure.
Awesome.
I'd like to play a show.
Cool. Going back out on stage with 10 Yard Fight to play guitar is the first time you've been on stage since the final BANE show. Yeah. How did that feel, and what was kind of going through your head at that moment?
It was pretty surreal, and I knew it was the first time I hadn't been on stage, obviously, since the last show, but it was a very kind of bittersweet moment, but also there's a lot of emotion that I didn't think would happen. It was weird, definitely getting on stage and not having it be BANE. Have Zach sitting behind me, and it's he's just there to hang out and not play guitar. It was definitely bizarre, and it was kind of rough. Yeah. But it was fun. It was a great show, though.
Yeah. It sounded great.
Yeah.
So you have a coffee roastery, or involved in a coffee roastery, Essex Coffee Company, I think?
Yeah, I started Essex Coffee Roasters the beginning of this year. I've been roasting at home, but I just decided to dive in and just try to find something good to do, something to kind of put the same passion as music, or put that energy somewhere else. So I've been doing that for a while, and it's going really well.
Great.
It's not a shop, but it's just I roast coffee for shops and online sales.
So you can find Essex Coffee Company, support that. One more question. I often see you wearing a shirt when you play out. It says "Boy Named Scout."
Yeah.
What's that all about?
It's actually a shirt that I made for my son, Scout. Pretty much since he was born. I don't think there's been any shows that I've played since he was born that I haven't worn one.
Yeah.
So kind of the world now, you can track everybody's life. So I was maybe if Instagram's still around when he's 10, he'll look back and can check the hashtag, and there'll be all these things from him growing up. Well, because I was on the road for almost the first 2 years of his life, so it was kind of hard, but right. That's hopefully you could go back and be oh, this is cool.
Yeah, that's a really cool way to kind of emblemize fatherhood, or the connection to your son when you're on the road. That's pretty rad. But yeah, glad to know you got something kicking around in your head with some music coming out. Hopefully at some point we'll see something new. Until then, taking 10 Yard Fight around. So that's pretty rad.
See what happens with that.
Sweet.
Thank you, man.
Cheers, man. What's going on, guys? Josh from In Effect, hanging out behind This Is Hardcore 2018 with Mr. Zach Jordan, formerly of BANE. Last time we talked, it was right before the final Philly show for BANE. Now it's been about 2 years since the final show in Boston. What are you up to these days? What does your schedule look like? And are you going to be making music with anything new?
God, my life after the last BANE shows, I kind of went into denial tour-wise. So I just kind of traveled a lot after that. Did my own my own tours. It was weird. I went and bought an RV, and I traveled the whole U.S. by myself. Somebody decided to drive through the RV when I was driving through Denver. So that's a fun story that I can give you a whole episode on someday.
Yeah.
But so I did that. And then when I was in BANE, I managed a counseling center for 5 years. I left that to do the last couple of years of BANE because it was going to be so hectic. So I ended up going back there after the band was, about a year after the band was done. They asked me if I wanted to come back, so I was kind of sitting around doing nothing, so did that, and that's where I kind of currently am when I'm not hitting, like, so now I'm kind of the, instead of playing, I'm like on the other end. So I actually just got off tour with Code Orange, that I did a month out on the road with them, and I've done some stuff with Burn, Stick to Your Guns. I'm kind of sticking right now to bands that I'm friends with, that I know I'm gonna have. I'm like kind of I'm in it more for the hang than I am for anything else, which kind of sounds stupid, but I don't know.
It makes sense. Being out there on tour with bands that you knew previously, I'm sure you see a lot of the same faces that you saw when you were touring with Bane. Is it weird running into people in different situations where like you see the faces, but it's not the same situation?
Yeah, that's kind of why I'm doing it. Like that's what makes it fun for me. Is like I can come through. Like we didn't play this. I think this is the first year I've gone to this hardcore and not played it, and it was like almost. It was more relaxing than. I love the years we played. They were like some of the best years of my life, and this fest is some of the best shows we ever played. But just coming here and hanging out, seeing you, and like seeing people that I know, just like hanging, not having to like worry about anything, it's cool, man. So when I'm out with these bands, depending on what my role is, I don't know, just to be able to like, hey, let's go get food or let's do whatever. It's like, yeah, all right, I don't need to be back until this certain time. It's like kind of the same as Bane, but. Yeah, I'm not. I'm just not playing at the end of the night. So I still love it. It doesn't feel weird to me at all.
Okay. Do you ever kind of wish that people would separate you from the band? Because like my intro even was like Zach, formerly of Bane. It's been 2 years. Are you ever like, all right, guys?
Nah, I'm not. No, I'm not like that. Nah, I know that so Aaron's got antagonized now, and I know they didn't want to have like that tag of like members of Bane or like whatever, which I completely understand that. There'll be kids that come up to me sometimes and they're like, oh, Bane had a really big part of my life, and I don't know. I think I just kind of just comes with the legacy of the band, which I think I'm just happy and like I feel lucky that I was in a band that had that effect on people, like I'm not gonna be like, oh, why does everybody call me the guy from Bane? Like, it's just what it is. It comes with it, like if Roger leaves Agnostic Front, he's never not gonna be the guy from Agnostic Front. It's just like is what it is. And I'm not saying Bane's that level, but it's just like nobody else knows me from anything but Bane. So, You
did that stint with Reach the Sky. That was.
Dude, I did that stint with Reach the Sky. I don't think anybody even noticed I was in Reach the Sky. Like people that went to those shows are like, like they love Reach the Sky, and they're like, you were the guy that played guitar, and it's like, yeah, I don't know, but it's cool. Like I don't, it's like same thing. I wanted to be in a band with the dudes that I was friends with, and they asked me if I wanted to do that, and I was like, yeah, let's fucking do it, man.
Yeah. Kind of in the same vein. So Aaron Dalbec, he played this year with 10 Yard Fight. Yeah. He did a short run with them in '97, I guess.
Yep.
Was it? And you?
The European tour. So.
Yeah, and you were on stage behind him, watching him play guitar for 10 Yard Fight like a night ago. What was that like? And what was it like being on stage with him for the first time in 2 years, but you're not on the other side holding your guitar as well?
It didn't feel weird to me at all. But he said it felt weird to him. Like he was like, you are always over there. Like it feels like you should be over there. And I didn't feel like I wasn't like, oh, like what the fuck, like like it didn't make me miss the band. It didn't make like I was there just happy to be supporting him. And it's like the same thing when I went to the Antagonized show, like the first show in Boston. And I was like up front singing along because it's like this is my friend's band and like I'm gonna support this shit, and I was just psyched that he's playing again because that's the first show he's played since Bane's been done.
Right.
And Bane being done is like this weird thing that we didn't break up because we didn't like each other, and we didn't break up because we were sick of it. It was just like felt like it was the time for us to fade away, and we did it, but it wasn't because we were sick of it. And so a lot of us really just kind of still need that release. And I've kind of stayed busy, whereas like some dudes settled down, and I know he really wanted to be playing, and so I'm so psyched for him. It's so cool.
That's awesome. Well, it's good that you landed on your feet and you're moving along and you got stuff in the works and
Yeah, I
touring
have,
with Code Orange must have been great.
yeah,
you
you
know?
have two. There's two options in my brain. Either you're gonna move on, like either you're gonna keep rolling and move on, or you're gonna be like this depressed person about a band that you didn't want to end. Which I was like the dude in the band that like I never wanted that band to end. I loved Bane. I was being in it was more than half of my life, and I was never like, yeah, I think this is a good idea. I'm like, this is fucking insane, but this is what you guys want, so I'm gonna do it.
I was admittedly a little nervous for you after I interviewed you guys for that last Philly show because yeah, there was that look in your eye of like, what is next? I don't know. So it's good to see you out here.
I thought for sure I was gonna be the guy because I was like, I'm either gonna go crazy or I'm gonna be fine.
Solo acoustic Bane shows in a basement.
I didn't think that. I thought I'd be in a basement, but on a fucking couch, like, like hating my life for the rest. But I don't know. Everything was. Everybody that went to the final show was like everybody that I've ever loved, and I was like, nothing could be better than this in my eyes, and it's just like for me, it's the perfect ending, and I can't be sad about that. So that's kind of where I've been,
That's awesome.
So.
Well, I think that's a good place to leave it. Thanks for taking a few minutes to come through and share your story about what you've done since
Yeah, man, thank you. I'm glad you're
since
here.
Bane.
We'll talk as time goes on. Maybe I'll be playing in Bon Jovi.
Yeah, let's hope.